Hey everyone, it is Pal Ponder on Weather. Today I'm going to be talking about a much needed cool down that's coming from much of the United States. Before we do get started, if you do like weather related content, please consider subscribing to my channel as I post about 4 to 5 videos a week. All right, so let's get started. So today, here's a teleconnection I kind of use a lot is what they call the PNA, which is the Pacific North American. You can see in the western half of the United States, northwestern half, it's been unusually cold, and that's usually here's from the European and the GFS over the next week. We are going to be a little bit colder. You can see a massive dip going negative, but as we go into October, it starts to turn around positive again, and that shift will shift into the eastern, southern, and eastern half of the United States, and eventually filtering into the Northeast. All right, here is the NAO, and basically you have two positive and negative on that one, and you can see when it's negative, that usually filters in some cooler air into the United States, but it's been pretty positive right now, and we're seeing much above normal temperatures in much of the United States except the western half. But you can see it dipping again, which is going to filter in that cooler air into the start of October, into the first week of October. Another thing I look at is the MJO. You can see the Mann-Julie oscillation. I put out the little phases here too. So there's a lot going on here. So this is a lagging indicator and what they call the Southern Oscillation Index. So it went strongly negative for about a couple weeks, and which basically stalled out the MJO. So we've been kind of stuck in this pattern. But and like I said, this is a lagging indicator. So just now it's kind of flipped positive. So you can see we're supposed to be in phase one for the next 15 days. But I'm not exactly buying that. You can see phase one. It's going to be colder in the western and central part of the United States. But I would say, as we get into the first several days in October, and especially on the 5th or the 6th, this is going to start swinging into phase two, which is going to swing around into more of the southern United States, and especially now into the east. So I think the MJO is going to eventually be on the move, but we've just been locked in this pattern for the next week. So here's the overall temperatures. This is the latest Euro model, and you can kind of see this is Thursday, so this is tomorrow, showing that cold air filtering in. It's going to get pretty chilly in Montana coming up. I'll show you. But yeah, so right now they're looking at, in the 50s and much of the 60s in Nevada. You can still see some 90s into the deserts of southwest, but 90s still baking much of Texas and much of the southeast. Well, you'll be pushing almost 100 degrees tomorrow in Georgia, but near 70 coming up in Maine for tomorrow. On Saturday, you can really start seeing that cold air filter in. So we're waiting for this, much anticipated cool down, and you're going to get it starting in the northwest, where Montana, you're talking, highs are going to be pushing, 35 degrees coming up on Saturday, and snow. And I'll show you the snowfall. And even much of Colorado up in the mountains, you might not get above freezing. And then into the Texas regions again, and into the upper 70s at night. And even in parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, still baking under that ridge. But we are seeing signs of change, and especially come Monday, we even have even colder air filtering into the northwest United States, where you can see now the high temperatures are trying to they might not even get above freezing in Bozeman, Montana, where we're talking 30 degrees below normal. That's some pretty chilly air, and I think 2 weeks ago I read in Alaska they hit September 12th 11 degrees, which was the all-time September low in 120 years. So there's some cold air building, and it's coming this way. So, but we've got to get past this ridge over the next week, especially in the central and southern half of the United States, where we're still going to feel the 90s all the way through the end of September. But as we filter into the first couple weeks in October, you can see even colder air now filtering in. Gosh, Montana, we're going to be in the teens at night. That's some really chilly air for this time of year. And you can see some 20s and 30s popping up in Nevada and Oregon and Utah. So there's pretty much a demarcation line. We're going to be 75 degrees low in Dallas, where it's going to be, pushing in the teens in Montana. So that's a 60-degree swing. And that cold air is just pushing its way down to the central and southern United States. And eventually you'll feel it, you guys in the Northeast, where, again, you'll be seeing all 70s, which is extremely rare for that time of year in the first couple of days in October. But if we take it on to 10 days from now, you can see that cold air really starts to take over. And these are highs where, we'll be in the 50s for highs in Dakotas. We'll be pushing, 30s and 40s in the Montana into the Utah region. It doesn't even get down into the 70s for highs until you get into Texas. But we've been 97 here in Dallas. So, you're talking 20, 25 degrees cooler than would it be a week prior. And, the 90s are trying to hang on in Florida, but we go one more day, you'll lose that. And you'll finally get that colder air in the northeastern United States. We're talking October 4th now, but these are high temperatures in the 40s in Maine. That's going to feel really nice in New York and all the New England states and even parts of Pennsylvania. So we've got some pretty cool chilly air coming. So this is a much anticipated cool down that a lot of people are going to be. It's a welcome sight. And here's the snowfall that's going to be seen over the next 10 days. And you can see that colder air depicting that snow. And that's the reason why you're able to get down into the teens in Montana, is you're going to have a snowpack, believe it or not, where you could pick up 6 to 12 inches in parts of Montana. So, and we're trying to get some snow for you guys in the Northeast, but I think it's just a tad too soon yet. But it is coming. It's just a matter of time. And here's the overall precipitation outlook for the next 10 days. You can see we're high and dry, where we're still going to bake in the southeast under that ridge of high pressure. But again, all that is kind of changing. So you can see this cold front coming in later on in the week, where we're going to be dropping some pretty good rains in Ohio and parts of Wisconsin area. But here in the tropics, and we'll be talking about this video next, we see Karen here kind of hanging out in no man's land. But that might be headed to Florida or the United States, again, a week to 10 days from now. But so I appreciate you guys watching. If you found this video valuable, please consider subscribing to my channel. And like I said, stay tuned to the next video, where I'll be updating you on the tropics, where I protect you before and after the storm.